People don't understand that like there is a way to communicate a progressive message without like coming across as a cynical panderer who at any moment could just drop that conditional allyship that they've represented. And the Democrats are fake. They're phony. They are always only aesthetically tokenizing certain marginalized identities, and then are constantly just going, which group should we on today? Which group could we drop today? And then they refuse to learn their lessons. They refuse to learn from these lessons. You know what I mean? Jamie Harrison right here. This is straight up. Biden was the most pro-worker president of my life. Saved union pensions, created millions of good-paying jobs, and even marched in a picket line. And some MVP's plans would have fundamentally transformed the quality of life and closed the racial wealth gap for working people across the country. From child tax credit to $25K for a down payment for a house to Medicare covering the cost of senior health care in their homes. There are a lot of post-election takes, and this one ain't a good one. First of all, hey, Jamie Harrison, you're gone. So why the f are you still chirping? Okay. No longer the chair of Democrats. Okay. Why are you still chirping, Jamie? Bye-bye, Jamie. Loser. Okay. That's number one. Jamie Harrison, perpetual loser. Why the f did they elevate him? Who knows? Number two, while there is truth to some of the things that he's saying in terms of Biden's agenda, you didn't communicate it. And also, these things are like, they are not immediate, right? There is no like immediate impact. There is no immediate impact in people's lives. Like they can't comprehend it, right? It's kind of like saying, well, the economy is rebounding. It's like, it doesn't matter, dude. What the f do you mean? Oh, unemployment is low. It's like, okay, well, guess what, dude? Unemployment is low sounds great. But the problem is, if people are still struggling and you're not addressing that, then they don't give a f about unemployment. This is not a culture war that you can just win by doing podcasts. Meatloaf's Wikipedia drama, eating disorder, Twitter turns on Trump, DDG on Kai Cenat. Yeah. I just don't think people understand. Yale-educated former lobbyist for Bank of America, Lockheed Martin, Wells Fargo, Boeing, BP, etc. thinks concerns about the Democratic Party abandoning the working class is straight up. Yeah, I wonder why. Now, the thing is, the right also has their own Jamie Harrisons. The problem is they just message better. Okay? Celinda Lake, a Democratic pollster on talking to voter focus groups. Everybody knows what Trump economics is. China tariffs, tax cuts. Then you go to ask them, what are the Democratic economics? And someone will make a joke about welfare and that half the people can't name anything. It's nothing like the Republican brand. Like, the Democrats do not campaign outside of every 4 years. The Republicans campaign every day. That's the problem. Okay? It's so out of touch. Yeah. That's it. There ain't never a moment where a Republican won't tell you about how the border crisis is happening. You know, every single goddamn day they're doing mass rape, everybody. They're lying too. It's not like it's true, but it doesn't matter. They say it every day until it becomes reality. Democrats, on the other hand, shut the up and wait for the Republicans to run the table and then respond. They always find themselves on the back foot for no reason. Yeah. They do not understand because the Democratic Party does not communicate it. Another House Dem aide gets in touch. Our party must learn that outside of our tiny insular bubble, AOC's toxic Democratic brand with swing voters, her primetime DNC speaking slot played directly into the narratives that lost us this election. Yeah, I don't think these guys are going to learn. I don't think they're going to learn. I think they're going to wait and allow the Trump Republican Party to just like destroy the country so that the unpopularity of the Trump Republican Party will then let them put forward another very crowded field, okay, of Democratic primaries where they'll inevitably elevate one of the worst dumbasses. Like, it's going to be Pete Buttigieg, dude. It's going to be like a Pete Buttigieg, Josh Shapiro, Gavin Newsom ticket. Like, it's going to be one of those guys, and I'm going to die. I'm just going to light on fire. The NC doesn't realize how you need simple communications plans. There's reporting a lot of people didn't realize Biden wasn't on the ballot. AOC and other progressives have clear messages. Kamala pushed Trump agenda and didn't know why people didn't show up for them. Yeah, there are so many issues with the Democratic Party, man. So many goddamn issues, but like, it comes from this, okay? It is their inability. It is their inability, or rather, their ideological goals that stop them from recognizing their errors. They just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. I'm seeing it over and over again. This is why I said to Michael from Pennsylvania before the election, when he was like, it's better when the Democrats lose because then there's an opportunity to organize. I agree with him that there is an opportunity to organize, but I just don't think the Democratic Party is going to start around and like allow there to be any organizing, right? We shall see. We shall see. But you know, it's just, they're so annoying, man. They are literally flooding mainstream media with this narrative right now. They're literally at this very moment. You go on any of the major news networks, you go on any of the major news networks right now, you are going to hear the most insane shit from people like Cuck Todd, okay? And they're blue pilling your grandmothers and your mom and your dad by telling them this insane narrative that like Kamala Harris actually lost because she was so pro-trans. Like, when the was she pro-trans, dude? She never said no damn thing about trans people. Not once. The are you talking about? Kamala Harris lost because she wasn't sufficiently pro-Israel. That's a take I heard. To me, that take is QAnon, okay? There is no difference in the lack of mental fortitude, the utter insanity, than just being a straight up QAnon supporter who's like, Donald Trump is fighting the deep state, brother. Let me tell you, that's why I voted for him. It is that same level of delulu. You are the most delusional person on the planet. I saw another take. Okay, I'm going to run this back. I need you to hear how insane this is.
And I think there was this very powerful ad, the Republican Jewish Coalition, that was all over the airwaves. Yeah. A bunch of women sitting around, Jewish women, just saying, I can't stand him, but I felt like we were supporting Israel and we were stronger and we were tougher. And I think that resonates with people.
And then to your point, the ad that came out that was beating Kamala up around fear about Israel not being protected. There was never a response from the campaign on that, which I thought was a big mistake. Amanda Berman from Zioness had to raise money running her own ad.
Yeah, dude, shut the up. You're such a bought and sold charlatan, Van Jones. Suck my dick. Whatever her name is from Zioness. You went to that special interest group's party because you want to do this. This is why he's doing this, okay? His entire goal on this panel is to just like try and spear dick this obviously completely ridiculous narrative to be like, actually, Kamala Harris wasn't sufficiently pro-Israel. It's so really damaging for the campaign. And then the absolute idiots that watch this shit at work at the top of the Democratic Party are like, I guess that's true. Like, who are you fooling, dude? What are you doing? This is, for the record, part of the reason why people don't want to watch the news anymore. They don't want to watch your shit because when you are sitting and watching a CNN panel, and I love CNN. I watch CNN all the goddamn time. Okay, you know this. I have friends that work at CNN. I think CNN is fine overall. But like when I hear this shit, I'm like, come on. Who is this for, brother? What are you saying? Kamala Harris wasn't sufficiently pro-Israel? What are you saying? Oh, I'm sorry. She didn't say am Israel high at the DNC platform. I guess that's why she wasn't sufficiently pro-Israel. Like who? Who is this for, brother? Who is this for? I know who is for. I know what you're doing. Let me tell you who this is not for. American Jews who voted overwhelmingly for the Democratic Party. 80%. Overwhelmingly. Okay? Because guess what? Turns out the Haaretz poll, or I think it was the Times of Israel poll that came out a couple months prior, was correct. Israel is not their top priority, okay? You know why? Because they're American Jews, okay? They're not Jews in Israel. They are Jews in America. They're American citizens. I hate this woke dual loyalty narrative coming from these dumb They don't live there. If they cared about Israel that much, they'd be living in Israel, okay? What the Every single poll kept saying, hey, if you tackle this Israel, you are going to get rewarded. Okay. 200,000 Muslims, Arabs in Dearborn in Michigan, largest representation. What happened? What happened in Michigan? I thought you were going to win Michigan with the suburbs. What the happened? You lost Michigan because you lost the Arab and Muslim vote, but it's not just the Arabs and the Muslims. You lost a ton of people who cared about this, who just didn't go out and vote. Okay? They just didn't vote because they were like, why the did I do this? They're not responsive to anything. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that they were just like, they let Trump claim that he was anti-war. Like I cannot begin to tell you how psychotic that is. One day, Democrats will understand, hopefully, that lesser evil voting and harm reduction narratives do not get asses off seats. Okay? And if they don't learn this, they're going to constantly have a lighter version of they're going to just do fascism light. It's going to be a Republican primary all day, every day. Yeah, he's talking about Zionist. I went to a launch party of Zionist, a new Dem-targeted pro-Israel political fund, which promised to be raucous and overflowing with a star-studded congressional cast. What I found was a very unhappy Mondaire Jones, a few people in anxiety about Kamala. But hey, this is how special interest works, okay? You got a lot of money. So what do? You set up a party at the DNC, and then you get Van Jones at the party. You grease him up, get him a couple cocktails, talk to him, talk about how wonderful you are. Now Van Jones is open-minded to your perspective. Now, a couple months later, boom, there you go. Dropping Zionist as a special interest group on election night coverage of CNN. That's how this shit works. It's not even like nefarious or secret. It's very above board. It is happening every single day directly in front of our eyes. These guys are so used to being farmed like this that they don't even see a world outside of it. Like they do not, I can't think of a single damn conclusion that a lot of these dudes arrive at on their own, that a lobbyist hasn't just communicated to them, okay? What a psychotic take that is so immediately at odds with the reality and purposely works to try and actively lie to the audience that's watching. Okay? That's it. That's up. That to me is QAnon no different than QAnon
Had trying to fight back alone. That didn't work. So, but listen, you tied her to the economy, you tied her to Biden, you tied her to weird, and it was not a good.
I agree with everything you're saying. I just didn't want to engage in the autopsy before before we've called the race and before she dropped out. But you know, one thing on that, the answer on I can't think of anything offhand about where she would differ with Biden was disastrous, and there's no doubt about it. The question is what motivated it, and whether she just felt she did not want to.
Loyalty.
Yes, loyalty. And so she should have just said, "Look, I'm grateful to him. I'm proud of many of the things we did together, and I'm not going to critique him. I'm talking about the future." Would have been.
Dude, what are you saying, man? Oh my God, the autopsy, dude. It is so unimaginably wrong. It is so unimaginably wrong. It's so bad. These guys literally are actively pushing the wrong thing. And they're priming the base. They're tuning the base that watches these television networks into believing a false reality, okay? It's very frustrating to see this. Like I'm telling you right now, like they're so in a bubble. Like it's so crazy. And I say this as a guy who spends 10 hours a day online. Like I spend 10 hours a day online. I'm live all the goddamn time. How the do I have a better understanding of what the hell's going on than these guys do? They're so locked in on the DC bubble. Talk to a person who's not a lobbyist, please, for once in your lives, dude. They all go to the same parties. They all talk to the same people. There's just nothing. There's nothing that like talk to some Trump supporters. And I don't mean like billionaires, okay? Talk to some Trump supporters. Talk to some disenfranchised voters who feel like they're not going to vote because they just don't have, the party doesn't have their best interest in mind. Like, please interact with normal people, okay? Go to a goddamn public park, please. Talk to a crazy person. I do it all the time at the public parks I go to. It's not great. It's not always the best, experience, but do it. Do it. But yeah, that's how it works. I'm glad that he brought up Zionist specifically because it's like a failed interest group that was trying to reinstill, a commitment, an extra commitment to Israel from the Democratic Party from a progressive side. It's like the progressive anti-abortion interest group, right? Like they exist. These things exist. They don't got no motion, right? But they did it. They won. Like that's a massive way to get a call out like this. You know, you bring Van Jones to your party. He sucks down a couple cocktails and then he says like, oh yeah, Zionist was doing a great job actually trying to assure people that like Kamala Harris was pro-Israel, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It's like, dude, you are out of your mind. Like, what are you talking about? Pro-Israel? What do you mean pro-Israel? Kamala Harris was already super pro-Israel. And not only that, but she also was anti-Palestinian. So much so that she lost Michigan and possibly other places as well. Like this probably played a role in Pennsylvania as well, in Georgia as well. There were plenty of young voters who cared about this. And Kamala Harris was like, this is what you get. We cannot let these clowns run the clown show in this way. I'm losing my damn mind, dude. I'm losing it. Another House Dem. Our party must learn from our tiny insular bubble AOC's toxic Democratic brand and swing voters. Her primetime DNC speaking slot played directly into the narratives that lost this election. Like, what are you saying? What did the Democrats do that was like even remotely pro AOC? If anything, they're constantly using AOC to try to whip up the progressive base of support, okay? Which she does to much success, really, which then pisses off the leftists because they're like, why are you riding so hard with this like bloodthirsty administration? Okay? They just use her. They just use her like a rag. Like they literally will like roll her out every now and then to be like, come on, get some progressive voters in. Come on. Go ahead. Lie to them. Tell them that we're working tirelessly around the clock to do a ceasefire. They don't even use her. They think that she is toxic. This is real, by the way. This sentiment from this aide, this House aide, is not a joke. Okay? It's not. It's real. They genuinely are so stupid that they think she is toxic. If the Dems learn the right lessons, does Waltz run in 2028? What's insane was the base was on their knees begging for Kamala to acknowledge their concerns regarding Palestine, so much that they'd accept the 3-minute speech of the DNC that ultimately endorsed her, and she wouldn't do it, then topping it off by telling you to pack up your shit and bounce. Yeah. Also, raw votes in New York 14, AOC 123,239, Kamala 122,455, raw votes in New York 15, Richie Torres 121,318, Kamala 127,000. So Richie Torres underperformed Kamala Harris. AOC overperformed Kamala Harris in their districts. Maybe Richie Torres should have been, working, I guess, a little bit harder on his own race in the poorest congressional district in the goddamn country, instead of trying to ban the only progressive voice that is able to penetrate any of these goddamn right-wing spaces, because I've been too much of a meanie bobini to Israel. What a freak he is, dude. Remember that? 5 days before the election, this dumb is running around being like, what Twitch must do is ban this guy. Yeah, you want only Asmongold should be able to talk about politics. Like, what the? That's so insane, dude. That's so insane. Like, you saw the numbers. You saw the numbers. Richie Torres, 5 days out from an election, alongside Ethan Klein and Destiny, these guys who are like supposedly progressive, supposedly, pro-Democratic Party, they were so invested in making sure that this list did not have one single progressive person on it. Talk to me about your priorities, please. Talk to me about your priorities. 5 days out from a election. You think it would have been more successful if Twitch banned me? You think it would have been better overall? That's crazy to me. Like, that's actually crazy. I could not believe it. I didn't want to talk about it too much because, like, there was a lot of like obvious insanity happening behind the scenes, but I was trying to be as laser focused on you know, the upcoming election as possible. But it blew my mind. Like, it blew my mind that Richie Torres was so stupid that he like aligned with a dude who personally has propped up Nicolas Fuentes, like deliberately revitalized Nicolas Fuentes' dead career. Can you imagine? Who the f on Rumble? Yeah, I mean, this is botted into oblivion.